Hello everybody, welcome back to NoCritsGiven. We've been away for a couple of weeks, but we are back, and first things first, to everyone at the table, happy Easter Sunday, guys.
Happy Easter, everyone.
It won't be Easter Sunday when this goes out, but it's Easter Sunday today. We've all ditched our families to play D&D because you do the same. We've had cake, we have sorted out some new stuff in the studio, and we are ready to go. My name is Ben, I am your DM and your guide through the world of piracy and deceit. Joining me around the table. Now I know what you're going to say. You're already seeing a gap, and unfortunately, he can't be with us today. But we're going to push on. There will be reasons that will become apparent. But joining me at the table is Josh Holmes, Luke Jackson. You all right? Jamie Docherty. And my co-host, good friend and business partner, Mr. Joe Smith. Before we crack on, obviously the person who would usually do our little plug isn't here, so I'm just going to remind you all that we couldn't be here today without our amazing sponsors that we work with of Armour Class and Mini Megastore. All the codes and everything are down below in the description, so make sure you take a look at them. Josh is being my amazing assistant here, demonstrating one of the character sheets that we got from Armour Class. In our last episode, the guys arrived in Port Mandalay before trying to, well, found their way to an old friend of Typhus's who was not best pleased to see him, who dropped some information on the state of the town since he had left, which Typhus didn't give a shit about, let's be honest. He then agreed to help them get into the fort. He was then in the dead of night trying to take them through the town where they were caught. They fought their way out of it and arrived at a secret society known as the Real Royals of Port Mandalay, where we were introduced to 3 characters, one of which was Typhus's father. We had not seen in a long time, and the last time we had seen him, or he had seen him, was the, what did I call him, the Chancellor, the Director, the Governor of the town of the port, but that doesn't seem to be the case anymore. We picked back up in that very same room. There's a dark room, it's lit by braziers around the room. There's a little bit of a fire in one end, a big circular room with a big circular table in the middle. The 3 people have stood before you that we saw in the last episode. What do you guys want to do?
I will take off my mask.
You take off your mask, you confirm to your father what your father believed is essentially Trick had told him who it was, and he sort of barges his way to the front to sort of almost grab you, to look at you, and he'll say, why? Why now?
Takes a moment and goes, didn't realise how bad it was here. I just foolishly assumed that she was going to just be her usual self and just crack on and forget that. What? I know what you're asking. And then I pull out the spyglass.
As you pull out the spyglass, he releases your head and steps back and looks at it in your arms. And give me a perception check.
That is a dirty 20.
On a dirty 20, you can see that look of almost elation that he'd seen his son again is almost instantly replaced with, for want of a better word, dread. You can also tell by looking at him that he recognises the spyglass, and he knows what it is, and he will take a couple of steps back and observe you. And how did you get that?
Well, let me tell you a story, man. We've been on a journey and a half.
Okay. Tell me a story.
We killed some guys.
Okay.
I mean, got a lot of guys to get to this point.
Quite a lot of guys killed to get that hidden. And you've killed quite a lot of guys to find it again.
Yeah.
Okay. He sort of rolls his eyes at whoever, not been introduced to anyone, rolls his eyes at you. Do you know what that is?
I believe I do.
Okay. What do you remember about your mother?
Apart from the fact that she's mostly cruel and insane.
What do you remember about the people your mother worked for?
Pretty much the same, cruel and insane. I was going to say, there was a reason why you never questioned the fact that I was leaving.
No. And if truth be told, there is a reason you were allowed to leave. What you have is an artifact that will lead you to a treasure and a mystery. Nobody knows about what this treasure is, but a treasure that is said to have changed the face of the world. Many years ago, I was part of a group that hid that. And in the process, you came into our lives. And the deal was made that we would also hide you. When you left, the people your mother worked for took over. And it was quickly apparent that your mother wasn't working for them. They were working for her.
Why on earth did you ever marry her?
Things are different in high society. She wasn't always the person you remember or the person she is now. Long story short, I'm going to read this off my thing. Many years ago, Typhus' mother joined a group of pirate hunters, aiding them with supplies, information, and tips. Fairbrook thought nothing of it. After all, Lady Fairbrook got her information from him, so he could just feed her whatever information he wants. But then slowly this company of pirate hunters began to grow. Slowly they gained a ton of power over some of the smaller ports, until they were one of the most vicious and brutal private armadas on the seas. The way they act, the way they operate is like nothing we'd ever seen. It was so pirate-like. One day, she heads off to meet them as she usually did, but this time she returns with something. A tall, dark cabinet that no one has ever been able to open. It stands in my old office, and the fort as we speak. She also came back with something else. With someone else. You. She told me that she had agreed to keep and raise you as her own, and to keep you safe. So that's what we did. She trained you in diplomacy and statecraft, or at least she tried to, and I trained you in seemingly everything else. When he sort of stops and composes himself and goes, when I was able to find out where you had come from, well, the people, on where this cabinet had come from, some people from Rockcliffe asked me to help with them with a issue they were having with a man claiming to be a king. So I helped. And when I helped, that spyglass was on his possession and had the same markings as the cabinet. We knew we had to hide it. So we hid it, and you were allowed to get off it. I made it possible for you to get off of the island. And yet now, you seem to be back.
Well, your account is not completely true.
No?
The cabinet has been opened.
His face drops again. Nobody's opened that in the 20 years it stood in my office.
Well, yeah, when I was out free, I was playing in your office while you were having a meeting with somebody, and it opened for me.
Do me a intelligence check.
Just straight intelligence?
Yeah.
17, I'll take it.
As you recount your memory of that day when you were 3, when you for the first time saw your father's office open and saw it, he was having a meeting with 3 people that day. Yeah. And as you recount the memory to him, you realise the 2 people in the room were 2 of the 3 people that were there.
Okay.
Implying that this gathering the society of people has been in existence for a long time. He stops and sort of thinks, You open the cabinet.
Yes.
He looks to his sort of friends, his colleagues, and they sort of look as shocked as he is, but one of them nods, and it's like it's become clear to them in that moment why you were so important and why you and the cabinet needed to be kept together. So he's feeling a lot better in that he separated that.
Yep.
I've got a feeling I know what you're about to ask next, son. You want to get back into that cabinet, don't you?
You always knew me best.
He will turn to the three people, including Trick, and nod, and they will sort of rush off to start doing things. Anyway, that'll happen. Introduce me to your friends.
Of course. This is my captain, Captain Zho-Zho.
We'll extend a hand for a handshake.
Yeah.
Pleasure.
He will arm on arm, proper bro handshake. Pleasure to meet you.
This is the first mate of our crew, Matryn.
The man who's killed many people.
So many people. And
yeah. Question.
Yeah.
Why separate? Aren't you curious?
Curious about what?
What will happen if all these different parts that you've tried to separate?
I was the governor of this port, and since a very early age, the well-being and safety of the people here were paramount to me and my life. We were told that whatever that led to would destroy and change the planet, change the world. I did what I did to protect the people of my port. I still do what I do to protect the people of this port.
From what I've seen, could be doing a better job.
I insist to you that what you have seen is nothing compared to what has been happening.
I think my friend here may be expressing a valid point, but in his usual way, maybe got his words jumbled up in the fashion that he normally does.
I feel that your friend here may be better equipped at killing people than he is maybe at speaking to them.
And you seem better equipped at hiding in dark, dingy rooms and sprouting things about the past than trying to move forward. Please do not try to cut into my comrades with your sharp tongue.
My thinking was we just kill everyone who's opposing you. If you want to leave this port, why can't we stand arm in arm? We take the port back.
Cheek to cheek.
Do me a persuasion check. You can have advantage from Zho-Zho.
I will introduce you in a minute, I promise.
Now this is all about to go down right now.
23.
Pardon?
23. It's not JP all over again.
He sort of takes a minute, looks over to your captain, and will say, I appreciate that the oldest tradition we have as men of the sea might present itself as a solution. But if you think that you can, the five of you, as well as the four of us, can take on an entire military fort, I implore you to think again. As for hiding in dark, dingy corners, if I was not hiding in dark, dingy corners, the people of this port would be dead. I do what I do, which you are unaware of. I can only be done from the safety of the shadows. My son Typhus is not the only person the lady of this port will be looking for.
This is Chiron.
Pleasure, sir.
I'll just give him a bit of a nod.
Your gills.
Mm-hmm. What about them?
I assume they are not natural.
No, you'll be right in thinking that.
We may have associates in common. And your final friend, son?
This is Cauld.
Cauld. I will reach out and shake hands with Cauld.
And Dara.
And Dara. Yeah. Did you just do a Cauld?
Yeah.
Yoo-hoo! Fighting them head on, I will talk to the group as opposed directly to Typhus, is not possible. They outnumber, outpower all of us. However, we have ways and means in this port of keeping our people safe, keeping our people fed, keeping our people sheltered. And if that means that we must do that from the shadows and hide in this place, then we shall. However, hiding in dark, damp corners of port does mean that we maybe possibly have access to routes and trade routes that other people may not. If getting inside the port and getting to my old office is the only option you people have, I can help. I will help. But I must implore you to abandon this. Should Typhus be discovered, you will all be killed. And there's not a lot I can do to prevent that.
I stand by what I said moments ago. Sir? Mr?
Lord?
Daddy? What would his...
Typhus just there with his face in
Governor.
his
It
hands.
would have been governor, wouldn't it, surely?
Many a year ago I was governor of this port, but if it will keep you happy, call me whatever you wish.
I stand by my previous words, Mr. Fairbrook. You and this port seems to be stuck in the past, or in time. One thing I like to foster within my crew is this sense of moving forward. And I think you need help moving forward. We should work together, not at loggerheads. And I think to move all of us closer towards a better future, getting Typhus into that room is the only way we can see to accomplish that goal.
Partway through you speaking, one of the guys will come back and sort of whisper something in Fairbrook's ear, and he'll sort of nod as they go away. Well then, if getting my son back into that room is the way we make this port safe again, to move into the future, as seems to be the theme of your party, then we shall do it. Follow me. Or does anyone want to do anything else before we leave?
Yes, Typhus is going to ask him. Obviously, you've known her a lot longer and hopefully better than I ever did. If she's gone, will that help you?
If she is gone and removed from this place,
Will someone else just take her place?
it's not the port. Whatever's in that cabinet itself, whatever, is the reason they defend this place so readily. If that's gone, then maybe they'll have no reason. However, I do feel that angering them, declaring war, so to speak, may not be the most... They're not going to leave quietly when they realise their job here is finished. Does anyone else need anything else before we leave?
Can I just ask one question?
You may, sir.
Are they aligned with the Obsidian Federation? As we
Any-
had a little run-in.
Anybody in the table wants to do an insight check can do an insight check. While you're inside check. Anyone. Fairbrook will turn to Cauld, who has this fiery ferret on his shoulder, and will ask him to remain behind, as sneaking into the castle with quite a volcanic, fiery appearance might not be ideal. To which Cauld will accept, and Cauld will stay behind in the safety of this sanctum.
I turn to Cauld going and just whisper in his ear, I'm pretty sure there's a kitchen back there. Can you make these look feel...
Cauld will nod and be like, I'm already on it, and disappear down a corridor where he can sense a kitchen. Insight checks.
18.
19.
8.
8.
Nat 20
18. And a natural 20.
For Total of 22.
In relation to your question about if they have got anything to do with the Obsidian Federation, on a 19, they are the Obsidian Federation. That's not really like putting 2 and 2 together from the story you've been on, from the people you saw in the bar to the way the town is. It is the Obsidian Federation. They've got control of Port Mandalay.
Definitely feel better for turning that one into paste now, anyway.
Anything else before he takes you on?
I'm just sidebarring here.
Mm-hmm.
If it is the Obsidian Federation,
Well, it is.
we crush these. And hopefully this will help us clear Rockcliffe. Because if they know we're here,
If you guys need a little chat before we move on, do that now.
hopefully,
Okay,
they
hustle.
hopefully they'll come for us. So, and then we can crush them even more.
Well,
So let's see if we can, by taking this place, help Rockcliffe like we originally wanted.
my thoughts is, if we can do this as stealthily as possible and get out as stealthily as possible, and then make as much noise as we leave, hopefully then they chase us and get out. Is my current thinking.
Fairbrook's going to have stepped away to let you decide what you want to do as a crew.
I'm not sure stealth's our strongest.
No.
You saw her escape from the pirate city.
What do you mean?
You saw in the town.
Every time we do stealth, it goes so well.
I mean, even just getting here, we got jumped in an alleyway by, what was it, 10 guys?
Yep.
Side note: next level, we all multi-class into rogue.
So let's hold a small abridged council meeting.
Okay.
Literally have a minute and a half. Come up with some ideas. Tell me how we're getting into this fort. Tell me how we're getting into the room. Tell me how we're getting the cabinet. Tell me how we're leaving. And we'll go from there. Have a minute to think. Right, you've had your minute. We'll go Matryn round.
So, they're defending this with everything.
Mm-hmm.
And we know we aren't the stealthiest. And they know we're here because obviously the fight was in the street. They know we're here because they don't just jump you like that. So I propose, with the help of the people of this port, is we make it look like an attack. And it's just hopefully only a small skirmish so that not, if need be, too many people die. However, it will pull the attention away from how we need to get to this chest. Now, once that's done, I'm not sure. I say we fight our way out of here because at the end of the day, I love a bit of murder. But
That's the best way I've ever heard it described.
but I think we need the help of this port. They need to have a fight, uprising, call it what you want, so that we can get in with less people watching us because of our stealth issues. And that's the way I think we should go about this.
Okay, Typhus.
I don't want to put the people in this port in any more danger than I have already done.
Yeah.
I would much rather us trying. Well, I feel like with the help from my father and his compatriots, we can get into this place fairly. We've got a decent chance of getting in, and then as long as we make noise on our way out, and then hopefully they'll chase us, and then hopefully my father and his group can do the rest here and give the people a bit more. Well, hopefully take the port back, but I am not so foolish to think that my mother would go down easily.
Chiron.
My thoughts would be to convene with Typhus's father and the people here and find out if they know of any weak spots to the fort's defences. And while one or a small handful of people cause a diversion at the main gate to try and draw the majority of the guards there, the rest of the group will try and exploit one of these weaknesses.
I'm sure they've got a way in, because otherwise they wouldn't have offered.
And I'm willing to run distraction if that's what needed.
I see. Thank you all, as always, for your input. Mr. Fairbrook.
Yes, sir.
Please enlighten me, if you can, as to how you would get us in.
Being the leader of a series of, for want of a better word, freedom fighters who operate in the dark, dank shadows of this port, we have come across many exits from the fort that may be able to be used as entrance. One such one will take you directly to the main staircase, which will lead through the centre of the fort.
I am not here to pull the wool over anyone's eyes. I'm sure you are capable enough to have heard the ideas we've battered around.
Mm-hmm.
What is your stance on a group or handful, a contingent of your men alleviating some of the occupiers'
Having heard what was said, I will reiterate my previous point of engaging these men in direct combat seems foolish. Accuse me of favouritism, accuse me of supporting my own, if you will. However, my son has a good point. The men of this port will not be able to fight. The women and children of this port will not be able to fight. Indefinitely. Distraction at the front gates will only mean they tighten their defences everywhere. My advice, and I understand your first mate's point about stealth not being the top of the priority list of a band of pirates. However, if you do not exercise caution or do not operate with an element of stealth, we will all be dead. I can get you in, but it would have to be my way.
Then it would appear our hands are tied. Any specific way in you're thinking of?
There is a service tunnel that's been out of commission since before I was in charge of this port. Me and my brothers and sisters used to use it to hide from parents when we didn't want to do boring diplomatic lessons. If we can get in there, that will take us directly into the middle of the atrium, which will put you at the foot of the staircase. The staircase will take you directly to the third floor where you need to be. After that, it's a case of dodging the patrols, not getting seen, not getting caught.
Mm-hmm. Well, I am not one to risk people's lives unnecessarily. So it would appear we're probably following as close as we can to Typhus's idea. We'll follow Mr. Fairbrook to the service tunnel. We will have to exercise great caution. Please remember that. Please get in as quietly as possible. Getting out, we can maybe loosen the leashes a little bit. But we need to get in as quietly as we can.
I might interject. How certain are you that the tunnel still exists? That it hasn't been found and caved in or even got guards on it now?
If I'm honest with you, I'm not. But every other access tunnel we've used previously to steal supplies, to bring down defences, to aid or to gain equipment and materials that we need has been found, has been blocked off. Many of us have died, even as recently as this week. I'll let you know now that had you arrived at my port without my son, you would not have been getting into this port. It is only as, and I can't believe I'm going to say this, your colleague Matryn has said, not through curiosity do I want to see what will happen, but I've tried hiding things away in hope that it will help, and it has not. If opening whatever treasure this leads to is the way that we help the people of this port, the people of this world, then we must. So for one last time, we will get into this port.
We'll take your lead on this then, Mr. Fairbrook. We'll go through the service tunnel. As I will reiterate one more time, everyone, this is a stealth-in operation as best as we can. We can maybe make a bit of noise on the way out, but please remember, this is our lives on the line. Typhus, I appreciate this is your home, and people have died, but they're not the ones going in, including your father. He can say what he wants. We're the ones going in. It's our lives being risked today. So we are quiet on the way in.
Are we going tonight, or are we?
You're going to get a bit of time to prepare. If you would like a long rest, you can have a long rest, but that might mean they are more equipped. They don't know you're here. Hang on. They don't know you're here, but like, if you wait longer, if you wait 8 hours to do a long rest, which will then be in the morning, there's going to be more people in the fort. There's going to be more people about. So you can short rest and go at night, or you can long rest and go in the morning, or you can.
No, short rest is half an hour.
It's just that you only need 4 hours for a long rest. Or you can go now if you don't need it. What I'll say is now, I'll give you an time to prepare. If there's anything you guys need to set up, if there's any abilities you need to, I'm going to make sure are active. Things that might take you an action or a bonus action in combat to do them now, as stopping to cast a spell on yourself may alert somebody.
Can I have the 4 hour rest, or would that be pushing it to the...
Let me work it out. You came in dark. A 4 hour rest is going to take you to bang on 4-5 o'clock in the morning. Sunrise will be coming up. People will be waking up.
As much as we're like...
Did anyone get majorly battered?
I've got...
but I'm second level exhaustion, so I'm half speed at the moment.
I've got 46 out of 59.
And my
speed won't play a part unless you go into combat.
And my ability checks out. I've just remembered I want to be on disadvantage. And I didn't roll my ability check. I forgot.
People, you only done one, and everyone else got quite high, so it's fine.
I was going to say, I can't remember if anybody has like a telepathy spell or anything.
I have message. I think, or was it mending? No,
Does that?
Yeah, I have message.
How long? What does that do? Like how long? Does
I can talk directly to one person, non-verbally.
Can they talk back?
Yes, it's a two-way conversation, but I have to cast it each time, and I have to be able to see know where the person is within 120 feet.
Workforce planning. No, it's just I can wild shape, so I can wild shape into a small animal and scout ahead.
Yes,
and obviously if we could talk,
as long as you're 120 feet. Within me, from me, I can send you a message and you can respond to it.
Let's get the timings down. So we've got the options of short resting for the sake of tired face.
Well, no, because I'd need 4 hours and that'll take us to dawn, which then we're pushing luck.
I think we should do a short rest for those, because I could do a short rest to get back some hit
just
points.
Just to top up our hit points, yeah.
Which
I'd
is only half an hour, isn't it, short rest?
Yeah, short rest will be fine.
It would basically just be catching our breath before we go back out. Kind of thing.
You have just tried to sneak through the town, got into a bit of a scrap with 10 guards, and then ran off again. Yeah. You're a bit... You might not have lost any hit points, but you're a bit battered, you're a bit tired, you're a bit...
Yeah.
Adrenaline's wearing off.
Yeah. There was food and drink provided by... Cauld found a kitchen and keeps bringing stuff out. Sorry, you're not here.
So I'd say short rest.
Okay, we'll take whatever rest we need so that people can get some form of rest.
It's an hour's one, isn't it?
Yeah.
But we'll still...
You go now, sort of thing,
after
the hour.
That, yeah.
Is anyone doing anything in terms of spells, abilities, set up? Have you got anything?
I was going to say,
if you want
to sort of do my plan, if you want to cast your message on me, and I'll wild shape into basically just a spider. So I've listed a spider image. Just a plain old spider. It's 1 hit point, but it can move 20 feet per turn, technically.
Yeah.
But it can also climb 20 feet. And obviously it's tiny, so it's not...
Just summoning back.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going.
Let's go.
So you've got prepared. You've all rested up as much as you need to. You've got any sort of spells and abilities triggered, so you get that. Fairbrook will don a similar sort of all black armour that Trick was using earlier. Not necessarily skin type, but a little bit more.
I will readon my mask.
Readon your mask. He will lead you down a corridor. You will notice that the short fat man and the Leonin are not coming. They are not coming with you. He will lead you down a corridor. It's sort of like a maze of drains and sewage pipes and staircases, and at one point you're back up like on the surface as he cuts across and he gets it down. He gets you to this gate, this grate on the side of sort of the big sort of eastern side of the port of the fort. Sort of portcullis-y bars across this thing, but easily sort of removes it. It's obviously been set up. This is obviously, and just over the sort of side of it, you can see something scratched into the side. It's obviously been a marker that they've used to which one to use. You go inside. You realise you are in a sewage sort of outlet. It's up to your knees in shit and piss and horror stuff. It stinks like fucking high heaven in here. You keep going. It's about 50, 60, 70 feet walk. There's another couple of turns. There's a steep bit that you have to go up where you get like a more sort of overflow of crap coming down at you until he gets to a door where he will stop and look and sort of say, this unfortunately is where I'm going to have to leave you. He will talk to Zho-Zho and Typhus directly and say, I'm sorry, I can't come with you. But if you guys fail, then me and my colleagues are the only thing that separates the people of this port with annihilation. I hope, talks to you directly, I hope a man of honour and a man of tradition can understand that.
I before he goes, I shake his hand and give him a quick hug.
He will take your hand, but unlike the bro hand, he sort of takes your hand, pulls you in, hugs, and he's like, if this is to be the last time, then make it count. Maybe, hopefully, I'll see you again, but if this is the last time I see you, son, make it count.
Is this like an earshot of me?
You're all together, yeah. He's not shouting, but you're all together.
Can I just like come up behind him, slap him on the back, and be like, of course you're gonna see him again. We don't die.
Okay. We'll motion to the door for you to enter the door. It's a sort of like half a door, like a hatch that's been used years ago, and you enter. Anything else before you go in?
We will hopefully see you again, and when you do see us again, I hope it ignites a fire inside of you bright enough to make you feel comfortable, confident enough to have to be able to leave the shadows that currently confine you.
Vive la revolution.
Typhus wants to stick his head through the hatch first to see what's out there, just in case it is like directly into a courtyard or something like that.
We've been stitched up.
As you put your head in, you will see you are in a courtyard outside in sort of the main keep area of the fort. What you'll see is two guards sort of manning the main entrance. They are sort of facing the front, side by side of each door, but chatting to each other, which gives you sort of like an unseen sort of corridor that you can get through, which you know. First thing, do me a wisdom check, just flat wisdom.
Flat wisdom.
Flisdom.
No.
No? What you do know is that the door you need is down here, and looking at where you are, you think you can get past these two guys.
How big is the courtyard?
Possibly, I'd say 40, 50 foot of like circular feet.
In which case, in the centre of the courtyard...
Fireball.
No.
Horses! Come forth!
At second level, I am going to class Fog Cloud.
Okay.
Which provides heavy obscurement.
Yep.
In a... because I'm casting it at second level in a 40-foot radius. So from the centre...
Making it foggy, so you got a bit of cover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Heavy obscurement for us. and because I know where I'm heading,
Yeah.
grab arms and
Mm-hmm.
snake through.
No problem. Are you leading?
I will be leading, yes.
Right, so as you are leading, I will... Well,
Well,
you
I
get
was
the
gonna-
choice now. Whoever's leading the party will be making the stealth checks.
I was going to say, I'm going to cast this and then we're going to wait about 5 minutes so that way it doesn't. So if they want to move around and search, they
Yeah,
can do.
you can get past this bit. You've cast the flog cloud, that's what's good. And in the time they're going, oh, this has sort of come down out of nowhere, you can sneak down alongside the wall and into the doorway you need, which brings you to the bottom of the staircase.
So that's fine.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're gathered at the bottom of the staircase. Are you going in any sort of marching order?
Because whoever's at the front makes the check.
Because whoever's at the front is going to be making stealth checks.
Please.
Um,
Love it.
yeah, I'd just
Problem.
turn into a spider because then I can go along the ceiling.
Okay, you turn into a spider.
Yeah.
You're at the bottom of a staircase, the four of you. Fairbrook has headed back to, well, for all you know, he's still stood by that door, but he's not come with you. Cauld is back at the sanctorum of the real royals. You're at the bottom of this staircase. You wild shape into a spider. Are you heading up the stairs?
Yeah, but I'll go on like the ceiling,
Okay.
like well, not blatantly in the ceiling, but like where the wall sort of meets the ceiling,
Yeah, like the
like a
corner of
little
that. Yeah.
crevice.
So no stealth needed from yourself, but you can do a perception check when you get to the top.
Okay.
See if you can see anything. Not you.
That'll be a good roll as well.
Yeah, you got disadvantage.
I think it's just flat perception for the spider. Don't get any bonuses.
Do that again.
That's a 14.
14. So how it's going to work with Chiron going ahead of you is that he's not going to be able to make the stealth checks for you as a spider because, let's face it, it's a spider in an old form.
Yeah.
But what he will be able to do is go ahead and see what is there should the rest of you fail a stealth check. Okay. So then that can give you more of an insight as to, oh, we might be able to just take these in this corridor rather than actively trying to save
You
them.
can call into someone's mouth while they're asleep.
Just so I get this right,
God, that's giving me chills.
it says here when a wild shape, your game statistics are replaced by the statistics of the beast.
Yep.
But you retain your alignment, personality, and intelligence, wisdom, and charisma scores. You also retain all of your skill and saving throw proficiency. So is that like the modifiers?
Yeah.
So that means I think my perception modifier is +5, so that's actually a 19.
Okay, on a 19, you go up the top of the stairs, and what you can see at the top of the stairs are 3 guards. They are sort of positioned in different doorways. Has anyone played Hitman? Sort of like that. You know when you get a random guard that's just leaning against a wall? Bit like that. So there's 3 of them. 2 of them are sort of stood talking together. 1 of them's on their own. But what you can see is a way that, right, if we time it right and we keep it quiet, the guys can stealth through that, round the corridor into the next bit, into the next room. So I'm guessing you've cast message.
Yes.
Yeah.
Relay that information back.
I'm relaying it back.
Perfect. And then before you move, I recast message going, right, connection's still up.
How does message work? Can you like
For the sake,
visualize, or is it just talking?
Just talking.
yeah. So for the sake of this, what I'll say is that you've got that spell up. You two can communicate silently.
Okay.
Yep.
As you've gone down the perception route, and a scout will be making group stealth checks with the other 3 of you.
Okay.
You don't need to worry about stealth because you is a spider. Is that fair? Is everyone happy with that?
So there's 3 guards.
So there's 3 guards. You get to the top of the stairs, and there's sort of like a corridor that sort of goes back. It's like a curved corridor, let's say. And across it, there's like 1 stood leaning against one, and then further around, there's 2 talking, sort of leaning against another wall. But what Chiron can see, is that if you time it right, you should be able to just sneak through with the right.
And this
stealth
is the
check.
corridor, not the courtyard.
This is in the corridor. You're through the courtyard,
That's fine.
and up. This is the top of the stairs on the 3rd floor of the floor.
Are they propped in doorways and stuff? Is there doors near them?
There's no doorways. You want to try and get through this corridor, yeah?
Yes.
Are we stealthing through?
Yes.
So I need stealth checks from everyone. The group DC is 15. So 2 out of the 3 of you need to pass a DC 15.
Can I try to cast a cantrip of thaumaturgy?
Yep.
Let's try it. In my eyes, give us advantage.
How are you going to? What are you going to do with thaumaturgy?
Because it can manifest. I can manifest a minor wonder.
Yeah.
One of them would have been that you can make unlock doors and windows fly open and slam shut. But another one, as you said, there is none, can create an instantaneous sound that originates from a point of your choice. Within range, such as a rumble, a thunder, cry of ravens, or an ominous whisper.
Then yes, you can.
So you've got the guards using thaumaturgy to create an ominous noise in their vicinity, which will be something like. So there's two guards talking.
Yeah.
It'll be like a voice of like another generic guard
Sort
voice.
of like round the corner.
Round the corner, just being like, "Oh, guys!"
Yeah. So they all, what is it? They will all turn to look at the. To be honest with you, the next bit where you're going to go in shortly, but what that'll do is give you advantage on your stealth rolls. Okay. So DC 15, guys. 2 of the 3 of you need to make it.
So if it's advantage, you counteract my.
So you're rolling
Your
flat.
straight roll.
Josh.
17.
18.
Pass.
20.
Excellent. So you manage to, as they all turn to face one way, you guys silently, in the dead of night, manage to just sneak past them. You've got instinct mode. L1's held down for instinct.
Past their vision cones.
That past their vision cones. You can see the mini maps going left and right, and you manage to slip behind them and through. There is like it looks like another corridor, but it's actually like 2 dead ends that are really short. So you go past that. You are now into another corridor. This corridor is more wider. It's more sort of boxy, and then it goes onto a smaller corridor which snakes around to the left. Perception check. I'm guessing you've gone ahead of them again. Perception check from yourself.
We just passed a stealth check.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. We just passed a stealth check.
Hold on.
It was at this moment. What was that?
21.
On a 21 in the next area, you can see another 3 guards. In the first sort of wider room, there are 3 guards. One of them looks to be more like a break area, a mess hall sort of thing. There is 2 sat at a table, facing a wall, back to people, and then another one sat facing the same way, but over the other side of the room, so would be facing into where the corridor is. And then through the door, which then with that corridor, the next corridor that snakes to the left, you can see 2 sergeants, which look like a little bit more higher up, a little bit more military rank, which are stood back to back. Back to the room, facing down the corridor.
There you go, Matryn. Do you want to see if they recognise your military?
Question for the DM.
Yes.
Having lived in this fort for several years, how far away do I know we are from the?
Do me an intelligence or wisdom.
I'm completely lost. That was a 5.
Yeah, you don't know this place. You know when you go into somewhere, like if you were to go back to your old school. And it's exactly the same, but it's completely different. That's the vibe you've got at the minute. You recognise the corridors, but you can't quite remember where this one. You know that you need to go from this corridor to that corridor to that corridor, and that's where the office is. You're not quite sure if they're the only 3 corridors there are, or do I need to go down here, up some stairs, across there? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you've got a rough. You know you're heading in the right direction. You just don't know how far much you've got left.
He goes, "Fuck, we're in the wrong building."
it's in the skyscraper over. Like fucking Johnny English.
So I know we're heading in the right direction, and I know it's that way, but I can't remember whether there's 2 corridors or whether there's 4.
Or 30 foot. Yeah. You might be. Yeah, you've got a sense of familiarity. If not, you don't recognise. Also, it's dead of night.
So, what's the rules on going behind? And kind of where you get them in a chokehold and then snuff them out that way.
It'd be grapple, wouldn't it?
I think if you want to knock somebody out, you would have to do. It's going to be complicated because of the way we're in. You would need to beat opposed athletics to grapple him. You would also need to pass stealth versus their passive perception, so you don't get seen doing it. And you would have to do some form of. And then you would roll to attack. If you hit on their attack, I will say you can incapacitate them. Not taking any hit points away, but that's enough to get them, to knock them out. Yeah. Just to suffocate them enough to put them down. We keep making the thing Hitman style.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
And then we get dressed in their clothes. Pick up their body, put it in a bin.
Hey, I'm all for it if you can figure it out. It's Typhus.
So, are the windows and whatnot?
In the corridor that snakes off to the left, you are on the edge of the building.
Yeah.
So there are 2 or 3 sort of, sort of castle-style not portcullises, but like
the arrow slits.
Yes, the arrow slits. There's a couple of them. In the first room, there are no windows apart from the door you're stood in and the door opposite you. It's up to you guys.
Oh, I just want to just go and choke hold someone and knock him out.
Yeah, we know you do.
That's why we're desperately trying not to let you do it.
How far away are the people on break from us?
15 foot.
15 foot.
If that.
Throw a javelin at his head.
No. And are any of them... What are they doing? Are they just sat there?
2 of them are on the table to your left, are eating. Let's say that they're all eating. They're all having a bit of food, but you've got 2 that are facing away from you and 1 that will see you when you come in the room.
Okay. The one that... would see... No, the 2 that are facing away...
Yeah.
Right, this might be very stupid.
Is it more stupid than trying to choke one of them while the other 2 watch?
I was going to say, I'm guessing there's a fireplace near them that's lit.
Side note, you're still in the room, just as a spider, and you
I
keep
can't
your
cast
ability.
spells.
Can you not cast spells? Sucks to be you.
No, what I'm thinking is, I'm assuming they have drinks with them. I have the ability to... I'm going to hope as water, or the DM will allow me, because I can... using shape water, I can freeze water.
You'll be able to freeze their drinks, yes.
Which then hopefully would go, hang on a second, what's going on here, and call their mate over, in which case then they're all grouped together.
What's occurring?
Pretty much.
Oh, can we then do a group,
synchronised take?
Yeah.
There's more of them, though.
No, because there'll be 3 of them.
That's the 3 of them in the room. There'd still be 2 outside the next corridor.
Say.
But if you'd have to pass stealth checks so they don't hear you.
Oh, I want to do that. Let's do it. Let's go.
Captain Zho-Zho?
That's the only thing I can think of to get them all to distract them. But even if they're all distracted there looking at these glasses that have suddenly frozen, we can then have a chance.
You could just try and get past them then, but then there are the 2 through the other room.
And then we're going to have to take them out. So if we take these 3 out first, then we've got a better chance to take the other 2 out. And then when we take them 2 out, we can take the uniforms and then start walking around like we own the place.
I can't believe the words are going to come out of my mouth, but the idea of Josh has just said of stealing their clothes seems pretty cool.
The only other thing I can do, which would be silent, is I can hold person on 2 of them. So I can freeze 2 of them, but that still means that we've got 1.
So you could freeze the 2 that are facing away,
yeah,
and Matryn could go behind the other one and try and take him out. And if you can do it all silently, you'd be able to get and then deal with the next 2 people.
Because I was going to say, with them paralysed, we could just...
I would allow you to
knock them out,
paralysed. It'd take you. You'd still have to try and roll to hit,
yeah,
but you won't have to grapple them. You wouldn't have to do
I would
stuff.
hold person on the one who can see us as soon as we enter the room,
Well,
and hold person on one.
What I was thinking is if Typhus can hold person or 2, and you use thaumaturgy to make a noise to make the 3rd one look away from whoever's going to be going up behind him.
Yeah.
So, say if he's sat and Matryn's coming from this way, if you
Matryn
use
really wants to try and choke
this
someone
side,
out.
because he'll look, but the other 2 are frozen. He'll be more concerned
And
with the
then he
noise.
won't
And
So you're
them.
freezing the 2s out of the table?
I can do.
Right.
I'd say it'd have to
Hold
flip.
person. What they got to do?
They've got to beat a Wisdom 15 saving throw.
Okay. They have a +1 to wisdom, so 14 on the die. And they save, and they are not held. First one
Saves.
is a 16.
Fuck.
Second one is a 5.
So
one of them is held in place. You trigger your spell.
Flame's gonna
Flames go up.
So does that mean the one that passed and the other guy will look at the flame?
And what do we have? And then held and you.
So the one that passed and the one that was on his own both look up at the flame and stand to start walking across to see what is happening. And you're going to go take one each.
And grab one. You wouldn't grab the other.
Right. So.
Do we get advantage on the stealth roll now because they're distracted?
He's adamant. He's like, I just want a flat roll again.
That would be fair because they are distracted.
You can have advantage on the stealth roll. So first, stealth rolls.
Okay.
Right, advantage means
I've
you
got
roll again,
19.
doesn't it?
But I have disadvantage on ability checks.
So you've got
8.
So the one you go for doesn't hear you at all. The one that you go for immediately turns around to look directly at you. Do you want to try yours? So now you've got to do opposed stealth checks.
No,
Strength, sorry, yeah.
So what, just a flat strength roll?
So you'll do it against this. Okay, you've got to beat a 4
What,
on a strength check.
18.
Yeah, so you've got him in the hold, and then roll to hit as if you were going to do to damage him.
I've got
And
this
if
guy,
you
Matryn. Stop
just
pissing
use
around.
whatever you use to hit.
Normally dex.
So use your dex, and then if you hit, he's down.
Probably not 14.
14 does misses. So you've still got him held, and I'll also say on a good because he failed his stealth strength brilliantly. You can have an arm over his mouth. The guy turns to look directly at you. What do you want to do?
Honestly, as I see him turn around to see me, and obviously we kind of both tried to
Yeah.
run up stealthily, and like he just heard me. Like I'm just gonna spear him into the ground.
Okay. You're gonna sort of try and attack him. So what you're gonna do is go for so still go for your opposed strength checks as you're trying to get him on the floor.
So I'm gonna like spear him to the ground to then try and grapple him on the floor.
Yeah, so we'll do a grapple. You will do that all as a grapple check. You are rolling with disadvantage, isn't it? Because it's your ability check. So
Is it an ability check though?
yeah. So strength.
Can you bonus action rage?
You've only got to beat a 7.
Yeah, but he hasn't, has he?
Strength check. That's saving throw. Strength check. So I do my normal strength +3, don't I?
Yeah.
I rolled a 2.
So you got 5. So you try and sneak up behind him, and the clanking of your sort of, you don't have armor, do you?
No.
But you one of your flail off your thing just catches the side of the door frame, and he turns around quickly to look at you. As he turns around to you, you go to spear him, but as you go to spear him, he digs his heels in and just holds you, and now has your head. Yeah, he's now got you sort of headlocked here. The guy's still held. You've got one grappled. He's got you grappled. Roll initiative.
So
I'll tell you what I'll do. I will roll to see if the other two in the other room I've heard.
Okay.
This is...
Oh, you idiot, John.
Bruh.
Guess what I have? What do
Cloak
I
of
have
stealth.
What do I have as I'm an Eldarin? Aladdin?
I don't know.
Aladdin?
Are you Aladdin?
You got Gina?
You've got Misty Step. You could have Misty Stepped over.
Misty Step behind him.
The other two have not heard. Look at Joe. Joe's just gone.
I have Misty Step.
This is
It all went so well.
this is part.
Until it didn't.
This is part 2 of 5. So before you
Just saying,
get
this
to
is the
anywhere,
only, that was the only
This is
stealth check
the
you would have
second.
ever
this
passed
is
whole
2 of 5.
campaign.
You're at.
Encounters.
As a group.
In
Stealth.
terms of sections to get to the thing, this is section 2 of 5. The other two in the other room have not heard.
Good.
Right, roll initiative. Right, top of the order is Typhus.
I'm going to walk up to the person who I have hold person on, take my dagger and slit their throat.
What might crit if you hit? And on a crit, in the sense of being stealthy, you can just drop them on a crit. So if you hit, you crit, he's gone.
I'm going to say a 13 does not, I'm assuming.
It doesn't.
Bonus action, do I have any bonus actions? Or can
You
you?
need to hold concentration on it.
I do need to hold concentration. I'm going to use...
Bonus action unarmed strike to strangle him.
No, I'm going to use...
Pick any certain characters can use an arm strike on that bonus action, can't they?
I'm going to use 3 sorcery points to regain their third level spell slot. That's my bonus action, that's it.
That's it. So, Obsidian Federation Officer 3, who's currently grappling Matryn, is going to take an attack at you. So he's got you under the arm, like your head in sort of a headlock there, as you're in front of him. He will draw his blade with his other arm, and he will attack you. which I'm guessing will miss on a 13.
Yeah, that misses.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Zho-Zho. You are grappling OF2
Yeah.
if you would like to try and silence him again. Same deal. Hit him. You're already grappling him.
Yeah.
If you hit him, we'll say that you can silence him.
Okay. 19.
Yeah, that hits. Body goes limp underneath you as you don't snap his neck, but you just squeeze the life out of him a bit, so his eyes go blur and he passes out. Body goes limp underneath you. You are on the floor. It will take you half your movement to stand up after that. But in a room that's like 20 foot square, you could probably move where you want to anyway. Anything else from you? You've got bonus movement.
I'll stand up.
Yeah.
Which what gives me 15 left.
You could get over to any of the other two. 1 second. Yes, Typhus?
I've just checked. Paralyzed gives the first attacks against you advantage.
Paralysed gives attacks against you advantage.
Yes. So
Okay.
can I roll again and see where I hit?
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Better.
Does a 19 kill him?
Yes, it does. That's 2 of them gone silently. The only one left in the room is the one currently grappling Matryn.
So I've got enough movement to get over to the one that's grappling Matryn.
You have indeed, yes.
As a bonus action, can I put my arm around him and
I
hold
will
it?
I will let you bonus action contested strength, opposed strength, to see if you can then grapple him off. He will roll with disadvantage because he's already grappling. That make sense?
Yeah, it's fine. So I'll move over, do that. So I'm just doing what? Strength roll?
Yeah.
Easy peeps, man. 14.
I rolled 216. Not only do you not grapple him, he remains grappling. Matryn. Then it's... He's dead. Matryn, your turn. You can do... you can try and grapple him back. You can try and...
Can I do my bonus action first?
What's that? You're going to go into a rage?
Yeah. Just a normal rage though, I'm not going frenzied rage.
Okay.
So, when this does end, I won't get any more exhaustion.
Okay.
So I'll just go into a standard rage for my bonus action. So then, can I just attack him normally? Or can I contest this grapple to then try and see if I can grapple into him?
You can do a strength saving throw to see if you can get out of it, or you can attack him from grappled with disadvantage. But you're rolling disadvantage anyway, aren't you? Oh no, because it's not a stealth check. It's not a ability check. So yeah, you can either do a strength saving throw to see if you can get out, which will the DC will roll against you, so it'll be contested.
And I have advantage on that.
Or you can attack him from where you are, but that will be at disadvantage.
I'm going to just try and grapple with him.
Okay. Needs to be at 13.
Natural 20.
Yep, you go into this. Someone's got you pinned down. You get really hot under the collar and really pissed off. And in a sort of, we've established that only I watch wrestling around this table, but in a big show in a Royal Rumble situation, you will fly up and fling him back off you. You do have movement.
Can I like stand? So like the guys in the middle of us,
Mm-hmm.
and then obviously Zho-Zho's came over. Can I stand the other side? So like it's them, both me and Zho-Zho.
Do you want to flank? Yeah, you can move around to be flanking. Back to Typhus.
Second level, hold person on him.
Yeah. DC
15.
fails.
So he's now paralysed.
Paralysed. So is that the end of your turn? Can you do anything else?
Well, I can't go up and.
No. But Zho-Zho can. Who's next? If you want to try and attack this guy and kill him,
Yeah. I'm not going to try and kill him.
you want to knock him out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a little.
Yeah.
So what's that? Just roll in.
Just roll your attack. If you hit him, you can be knocked. It will be knocked out.
I'm just chilling on
Dirty 20.
Yeah, it hits him. He is knocked out. You are back out of combat. So you've cleared that room. They are now knocked out unconscious.
Yeah.
The other two in the next room still didn't hear. Leave it to the dice, guys. Leave it to the dice.
Can we do Hitman tidy up?
Somebody roll perception to see if you can see a cupboard.
21.
18, so.
On a 21, there's a little cupboard in the corner where the guys were getting their food from. If you want to stuff somebody's in there, you can.
Yep.
Yeah, you do that.
So there's
Can we get
3.
changed into their uniform?
If you want to get changed into their uniform, you will allow you to have advantage on your stealth checks.
while these lot are deliberating, I was hoping to save this because, like I just said, it's not just getting in; it's getting out again.
Sorry, carry on.
So I'm going to crawl down off the ceiling in spider form and change back. Now,
One of the unconscious bodies in the corner goes,
now, what I'm going to do is I was hoping to save this for when we were trying to get back out, but I'll use it now because it can last up to an hour as long as I can keep concentration. It's pass without a trace.
You know, earlier when I said, does anybody want to do anything before you start? You had pass about trace the entire time.
Yeah, but it was
I wanted to save it for getting out in case we needed it.
There's no issue with you getting the uniforms on. Obviously, I won't. Yeah. But I don't think the idea of going, I'm just taking these guys, was nobody else. You'd think they'd be aware.
It would be persuasion checks.
Yeah.
I'm saying I'll do pass without a trace because it gives you a +10 bonus to stealth checks.
I want to take the two guards outside the room. I want their uniform because they're higher superiors. Because then we'll get through a lot easier, and then I can do intimidation because I'm a lot more intimidating.
Intimidation.
Right, what's your plan to get rid of the passers next two?
Right, does anybody want to put a uniform on?
I want the superior officers, but if we're not going to take them out, then I'll just take a normal uniform out.
They're back still to us, aren't they?
Yeah.
Do we want to try again and do Hitman style?
I mean,
right. So we're having the thought bubble is we do a pass without trace to make sure we've got good
which is
stealth checks.
+10 to stealth checks.
If they've got their back to us, we're already at a good advantage to going up and getting them. We knock them out. 2 people, in my mind, maybe.
Well, Chiron's now not a spider, so...
Yeah.
Go then disguised as sergeant rank officers. Whether or not that helps us get into places, I don't think leading us through and stuff.
Yeah,
is the
but
right
what
thing.
I'm thinking
But
of is-
we'll address those situations as we get to it. Right, let's go. Let's take these 2 out.
So-
Right, okay, so you've cast pass without trace.
Yeah.
You're casting it. You now all have an extra +10 to...
for an
stealth.
hour.
It's just a flat +10.
Yeah. That's, you know when you could have done with that earlier.
Yeah, I don't know what you mean.
Right, who's trying to take these 2 out?
I will.
Right, same again. Stealth checks from both of you.
If 2 of us take each, we can give each other advantage, no?
They're like a double takedown.
Yeah. So like
You can do that if you want.
So like you
Yeah.
and Typhus could take one and me and Matryn could get the other one.
Okay.
Okay,
Just give
do
us
that
better
as well.
chances.
Stealth checks from the other 2 as well, then, please. Who's going with who?
I think if we'll do like Chiron and Matryn, me and Typhus.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, stealth checks first.
16.
That's a 22 on my stealth
Right, you
check.
both put a 20 and you both averaged higher. So yeah, stealth checks are fine. Now, what we'll do now, for the sake of... you can't both try and grapple someone at the same time. Bit weird. But you can give advantage to the other person in your team to now do
I'm
opposed
assuming your strength's higher.
grapple checks.
So it's a strength check.
Yeah.
all of us, yeah.
Jeez.
What'd you get?
16.
Yeah, you grapple him.
18.
You grapple him as well. They're both down. Now all you got to do. Let's say that the other person has to roll to hit because
Yeah.
you've got them held.
Yeah.
And then the other person can come up and then just roll to hit.
What would that be?
Just an attack roll.
Attack roll.
You can use your weapon, whatever you want. You could like the haft of a fucking.
Well, that was nat 20, so I'll keep that one.
Yeah, that's So you and Typhus down that one. Not sorry, you and Matryn down that one.
Does a 26 hit?
Yes.
Just to be clear, I'm using shocking grasp, so I'm going to take 2 fingers, temple.
Well, to be fair, that was a
You're
nat 20.
slicing this guy apart. He's just shocking him to death.
But they both drop to the floor. You have got through the. That is 2 of 5 you've now passed. There's 3 more areas you're going to need to pass just to get to the room. So you guys have got through the first 2 corridors. These guys, the 2 out in the corridor, have gone down. What's the plan?
I'm going to put one of the clothings on.
You can go put one of the clothing on. That will give you advantage on your stealth checks. Anything from anyone else? I will also say that you can put these 2 in the same sort of cupboard. There's a freezer. Funnily enough, there's like a lawnmower, like a wood chipper, and you can... Great game. Are you wild shaping back into a spider?
No, I'm not going to waste wild shape. I'm going to just stealth it.
So we're just going forward now. Right, so you guys...
Side note, the fog in the courtyard has gone.
Yeah, no problem. They're just like, what the hell? You know, like, again, in a game, when you cause a distraction and they just wander around.
Who's there?
Just so you're all aware as well, you are going to get disadvantage on your next stealth check because you failed the last ones. So in the last section you've just done, your stealth was failed, so you've got disadvantage on the next one. That doesn't mean... Pardon?
Only I failed.
Failed as a team.
Yeah.
You all went into combat.
So you're getting changed into one of the sergeant's outfits. Anyone else? Because there's one left.
No?
I'm bright blue. I think they'll counteract each other.
Oh, are you Typhus? No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
No, I'm not, obviously.
Right, so you move forward.
Yeah.
You go through round the corridor that's snaking to the left. You come round, it sort of comes round back on itself in sort of like a right angle, and you come through to a wide open 30 foot by 30 foot room. In the doorway of the room, somebody can do a perception check.
Can I give one of these two advantage?
Yes.
Hold it. Shocking.
So what you see is a
13.
dimly lit room that doesn't appear to have anyone or anything in it. Big square room. Over the other side, you can see a doorway that leads to a corridor, which will then take you on further.
How big is said room? Just from what we can see.
30 foot by 30 foot, big old square room.
That is absolutely fine. In which case, then I will cast at second level detect faults, just so that way I can just send
in the room.
Well, it's 30 foot around me. So if the room's 30 foot wide and I'm at the doorway, that's across the entirety of the room. Just so that way, then I can just see what.
You get nothing back.
Get nothing back, so nothing is.
It appears that there is nothing in this room.
I'm going to stealth my way through the room. I'm just going to take the lead and stealth my way through.
Roll your stealth check, sir. You are rolling flat. You've got advantage from your uniform, but disadvantage from failing the last one.
18, 28?
Yeah, you walk through this room. Nothing appears. Nothing sets off. You don't trip anything. You go through to the other side of the room and into the next corridor. The corridor is also empty. You can continue going on that stealth check, and you get through. You pass a staircase to your left, and you go on and to another. In front of you now is another smaller room. This is one probably about 20 foot by 20 foot, but it's quite dark in this room.
I have dark vision. Can I see just look into the room?
Yep. Give me a perception check.
It's just that meme. It's you're in a dark cave. I have dark vision.
Yeah.
I don't know if I do.
Oh shit!
Did you go from a 20 to a what?
So you look into this room with dark vision. Have you, the rest of you guys, caught up with him? Yeah. So you look into the room. You see quite a dull room. There are braziers around the outside of the room again, but they're quite lowly lit. It looks like this room isn't necessarily in use. But what you can see across, sort of, if you're at the front of the door, to your right-hand side, there is another corridor which has a lot of light through it. But there doesn't appear to be anything in this room.
Do you want me to use thaumaturgy to make the light flare up, to maybe cast more light in the room?
If you want, I can just use produce flame and have a flame in my hand that I can just extinguish.
I'll do the thermatology one, just because they will see where your source is, whereas if Joe does it, it just allows it to then be at a different place that it doesn't trigger.
I was going to say, now that we've got to the thing, can I just make a perception check into the room?
You can, yeah, because you can.
15.
Doesn't appear to be anything in this room.
Fair enough.
Should we just stealth our way through?
Well, I was going to say, if it's a dark room and there's a light room over there, they can't see us if someone's stood in the doorway.
That is the only doorway.
That's the only door.
It's the way. It does appear that the way you've got to go is into the room where the light is.
So yeah, I said let's go gang around that door and use the darkness to our advantage.
Stealth, got them. You grouping it, or you just following Typhus as a lead? Not Typhus, Matryn's.
I got 18.
I'll stealth because I'm in a uniform anyway, so I'll follow.
You've got advantage on stealth.
That's a 19 plus 10, 29.
On a 29, you walk through this room silently, managing to bypass sort of like the light that might cast a shadow. You like not knocking anything over. You manage to slip through this room silently as well, the four of you, sneaking through into the final corridor. As you get to this room, this corridor where you saw the light, you can see it is a long, thin corridor with light lanterns, sort of braziers again down the side, but each one every 5 foot seems to be a little bit brighter. and a little bit brighter, and a little bit brighter. At the end of this 20-foot corridor, there is another wide room, which has one door sort of to the left, and then sort of bookcases and stuff around it. Typhus, do me a perception check. Or an insight. Do insight for me.
Insight is 16.
On 16 insight, this is the door to your father's old study.
At the end of the corridor.
At the end of the corridor, room, door there.
Yeah.
That's the door to the study. That's the place you need to be. Give me a final group stealth check as you approach down the corridor to the door you have been trying to get to.
Cheesy peeps, man.
We got
24.
15.
15.
You've got
25.
advantage, remember.
as half of the party beat the DC of 22. You are effortlessly walk down this corridor and through this room to the door. What I'll say is now you're in this room. There are nobody coming to get you. I have checked to see if people have found the bodies. They have not. I have checked to see if anybody heard the fight. They have not.
Whoa.
I have checked to see if people can work out where the fog came from. They have not. Yeah, one of them just goes, "This is a Typhus fog cloud, this is."
Yeah.
You have got
I've seen this
essentially
fog before.
time at this door to get into the room.
Yeah. I will.
Really powerful moment.
Um,
Trying the door?
do I hear a familiar sound? Or
Give me a perception check.
because obviously I was called into it the first time. Perception, that is.
Do it with advantage.
16.
You can hear all sense. It's not really a hear that you get.
Yeah.
You just get called to, but you can hear that same tune playing to you that played to you for the eyeglass, that played to you for this same room all them years ago. Want to try the door?
I'll try the door.
Door's locked.
Can I use Misty Step?
Yes,
into the
you
room?
can misty step into the room.
Jeez.
How do you misty? How
This is a
do you do
third
it?
level spell slot.
I go to run, like, to bash into the door, so these guys think I'm just going to make as much noise. And then, like, just as I get to it, like, I kind of click my fingers, so I just disappear into the door.
Ant-Man. So you find yourself on the inside of this office. There is a huge dark oak desk in the middle with an absolutely massive sort of intricate wooden chair behind them, almost throne-like in that this is the chair for the governor of Port Mandalay. Around the room there are a series of portraits of all the former Port Mandalay governors. You see Typhus' father, who you met earlier. You also see that directly behind, like next to that one, is a portrait of a woman that you assume to be Lady Fairbrook, and she is obviously taken governance of the island fully in Typhus' father's absence. You can also see 2 or 3 sort of cabinets and chests to the left that are all quite intricate and highly made and highly decorated in different like metals and different varying levels of wood. And behind the chair, as described from what you understand from the story that Typhus has previously told you, is a giant cabinet merged out of one piece of wood, where a piece of rock and wood sort of merged together, almost like a cross between a tree trunk and a boulder, and a door on the front. What do you want to do?
Can I just open the door for my comrades?
Yes, you can. Just open the door. You open the door, and you guys walk into this room and see the same.
As Typhus walks in the room, can I ask him, is that like his mother?
Go ahead.
Is that a portrait of your mother?
Without looking at it, just see it looking directly at the one whose father goes, "Yes, that's her."
Can I get like my flail out and attack the portrait
Yeah.
of her?
You take out your flail, wave it around, building up momentum, and try and attack it. And as you bring it down onto the frame, you are thrown back across the room, slamming into the bookcases opposite, taking
I was going to do that. I was going to cut it with my knife, but
10 points of damage.
Jesus, what is it made
As
of?
you look up at
Magic.
at the painting, it is completely and entirely unharmed.
You just got beaten up by a painting. How do you feel? Wait, is
Add that
another
to your
angle
trigger
roll?
list.
Yeah, there's another trigger.
That means
Did you
I'm
actually
out
roll for it?
4th time, so I have to do 5 or higher next time.
To save.
Now you're triggered by paintings.
I'm triggered by you laughing at me for being.
Yeah,
One
it's
of my triggers is
embarrassment.
embarrassment that Matryn feels, and because you've laughed at him being.
What do you guys want to do?
I want to try and get to the cabinets.
You can go to the cabinet.
Does it open for me?
Can I search the desk? Just so
You can in a second. You walk around the desk to the cabinet. That music and that tune sort of echoing in your ear. Put your hand up.
Yeah.
You put your hand up to it, and as before, you get a million millimeters away from it, and the front completely dissolves, revealing a piece of parchment no bigger than, say, A3, floating in a sea of emptiness and nothingness. Just as you remember it.
Okay, I will reach out for the paper again. This time with the intent to take it.
You reach out for the paper, and I can say that you take it easily. It almost floats over to your hand in the same way the spyglass does. As you look down at, give me a perception.
24.
The 24. When you were 3, you looked at this bit of paper and you were mesmerised by moving colours and different shapes that appeared on it. Now you look at it and you realise that all of the colours seem to be there at once. Not overlapping, there's like different bits of different thing all over the place. And different colours seem to be glowing at different levels and different rates, almost trying to show you something different depending on what colour is more prevalent at that moment. You also notice on a 23? 24, that the pattern of them seems to be the same. It's red, then yellow, then blue, then green, then purple, then red, then yellow, then blue, then green, then purple. Can anyone else give... You want to loot the desk?
Yeah.
Roll investigation.
I just want to see if there's anything useful. 18.
On an 18, you find in the desk, there's nothing like valuable in terms of coin value and monetary value. So what you do find is a sort of folder, like a dossier. And as you open it and flick through it, you see that the story of the Deadfire chest, as you were told by Carvallaroo. And as you flick through it quickly, what you notice is pictures of Typhus growing up. You noticed a picture of the spyglass and a picture of the desk, the chest that you got. You also notice, as you flick through a bit more, these are all sort of hand-drawn, by the way. It's more like a journal rather than a printed A4. You see... What did you get? An 18?
What did I... 18, yeah.
Yeah, so you see pictures of Typhus sort of like growing up and documenting his growth. And the first ones are when he's younger, and then when he's like a older child, and then when he's a teenager. You see on sort of like the next chapter there is a picture of the chest. So there's all notes accompanying it. You see a picture of the spyglass. So whoever this desk belonged to obviously knew that the chest and the spyglass were linked, but they didn't necessarily know that one was in the other. And the last thing you see before the pages go blank is the handle and the sort of start of a blade of a sword, which appears to be on fire. And then, you can take that journal with you if you'd like.
I'll give it to Typhus. I'll just say I've just found something here that I think you should probably be taking a look at.
Just at a quick glance, obviously you're going to read it properly later because we want to get out of here.
Yeah.
Is it in my mother's or father's handwriting?
There is a mixture of different handwritings. What you do know is the stuff at the beginning in terms of the tale of the Deadfire story and the implications, and there's a couple of maps with different locations. Some locations you recognise are like Rockcliffe, here in Port Mandalay, seem to be very, very old. Okay. But there is nothing discernible about this specific person's handwriting. Okay. Does anybody else want to check anything?
The pages are a bit more weathered on
yes.
those bits.
Yeah. Anyone else want to check anything? I'm guessing you've got the paper.
Yes.
You've got the bit of piece of parchment. That's in your possession.
Matryn's got a headache.
Matryn's got a headache.
It's the...
Did you say there was chests as well?
There's a couple of chests.
I mean, what do you guys think? Check the chests?
I think we should just get out of here.
I'd say quickly check a chest and then go.
Yeah.
Who's checking the chest?
Go on, Chiron.
Oh, okay, I'll check the chest. Die. What am I rolling on?
Investigation.
Investigation.
You find 4,300 pieces of gold.
Boy!
Yep.
This was a personal stash of gold for the person who has been in control of this. Are you adding it personally to your...
Yep.
in front of everybody, you're going to go, this is...
And that's 1 gold for me.
So that's over 4,500 gold at the minute.
I will let you take that up with your captain later. Anything else in the room?
No.
Well, was there any other chests, or was it just that one?
There was another one.
Oh, we might as well open it while we're here.
Someone roll investigation. Zho-Zho, roll perception.
Oh, Zho-Zho.
Perception.
Perception?
No, who needs to roll? You need to roll investigation.
Yeah, you do. Zho-Zho needs to roll perception.
15.
There are people approaching outside. Down the corridors the same way you've came.
Investigation 6.
6. There's nothing of note in the second chest. It appears to be... I'll tell you what. It appears to be recently emptied.
Cool.
Because you can see the markings of it being recently opened.
Is there a window in this room?
There is a window in this room.
As the guys are doing the door to the office.
Yeah.
We locked it.
Yeah.
Turning around saying there are people on their way. Set the room back to rights. Close the chests. We'll talk about your findings later, Chiron. And I'd like us to probably try and leave out the window.
They are fastly approaching on the door. You can hear many, many footsteps approaching down.
How stealthily do we want to be leaving this place?
Look, I don't really care at the minute. As long as you've got, if anyone's got any way of getting us down safer than just lobbing ourselves out the window, I'll take it
Can I go
over.
stand in the way of the door?
As
You can go stand in the way of the door.
I open the window and I use polymorph on myself to
Yeah.
turn myself into a giant eagle.
Into a giant eagle.
Can I just put something to block the doorway?
Yeah.
Like water or like one of the chairs?
Yeah.
Just kind of-
As Typhus transforms into a giant eagle, you hear a quite powerful, sort of authoritative voice say, "The door's been barricaded! They're leaving via the window! Search the skies!" Perception check, anyone?
Yeah, mate. 23.
As you hear that, and as you are in the middle of moving and you're blocking the doors, you look around the room and it occurs to you that all of the eyes of all of the portraits are moving.
Love it.
And they are all watching your every move.
Matryn, away from the door. Get on the eagle. Chiron, get on the eagle. Everyone's got on. Matryn's flipped all the paintings off.
You're on the eagle. You've gone out the window. Whatever.
I mean,
you've
I'm
done.
completely ready for you to get rinsed with ballista fire or something.
Oh
like
yeah.
that.
Well, I've got an 80-foot 5 speed. I'm going up and then
Okay.
back to the ship.
It is the dead of night still.
Mhm.
You have taken off, and as you literally jump out, the door behind you bursts open, and 50 guards have all crammed through this thing, all taking shots at you with their bows and arrows. I will roll.
What's the...
They all miss,
Oh, okay.
and then as you go up,
Does that thing have an AC then?
Yeah.
What is it?
13, but 13 natural armor.
as
Would you
you,
like it to be 16?
Yes, please.
what you did?
I'm going to cast second level transmutation bark skin.
Yeah.
Touching a willing creature until the spell ends, the target skin has a rough bark-like appearance, and its AC cannot be less than 16, regardless of what kind of armor it's wearing.
Give me 1 second.
Now I will touch Typhus his eagle form, and as an eagle, he will all become like, encased in this rough bark sort of appearance.
It looks like a wooden bird flying through.
Oh,
the
yeah.
sky.
So,
As you dodge arrow fire that's coming behind you and a ballista shot that comes up, you feel like you see the new dawn in your sights as you begin to swoop down towards it. Can you make a wisdom saving throw for me, please?
Of course I can. First one's 11.
11, you fail on the first one. And as you dodge an arrow fire, dodge a second arrow fire, a ballista comes up, which you pull back to sort of dodge. You feel yourself in eagle. Are you an eagle or are you the dinosaur one? Eagle.
We'll go eagle as everybody's saying eagle.
In eagle form, you feel sort of like a cold, sort of sickening presence sort of grab the edge of your talons and sort of creep up your body as Hold Monster takes effect, and you are frozen in place and begin to free fall. How far did you get up? Actually, I know how far you get up. You were 70 feet, because that's why I made you roll a d10. As you begin to fall to the ground, I will let you roll to try and save. In terms of landing, you will not be able to get back up, fly back up again.
What is it? Is it a dex or
wisdom?
Dirty 20.
On a dirty 20, you save. You manage to finally fight and shake off this Hold Monster spell as you break free, loosing your wings again to be able to slow down the descent. People on the back, give me a perception check as you land towards the ground.
23.
Perception.
21.
21, 23.
13.
On a 13, you are very much caught up in the fact that you are plummeting what you think to your death. 21 and 23.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing you notice that at maybe 2, we're still dead of night, is that it's very, very bright as you fall down. And as Typhus slows his descent, you look over and you realise that every single building on the outside of the town square you were earlier is ablaze in fire and burning away. And as you land and drop and you guys jump off, you see in the centre of the town square there are many, many, many only Obsidian Federation officers and sergeants stood around, all with weapons pointed inwards at 4 figures who are on their knees, about 10 feet apart in the middle. Each person has a bag over their head, and somebody stood above them with a weapon, either a sword or an axe, pointed at each one. In the middle of the 2 in the middle, about 10 feet forward, sits a woman on what can only be described as a mobile throne. This seat is huge. It's got gold on top of platinum on top of gold. It has got rubies and encrusted diamonds and everything over it, and the big sigil of the Obsidian Federation across sort of the top of the seat. And sat in it is a woman who looks to be older than life herself, all decrepit and skin all tight, all sucked in, very almost famine-like, almost skeletal, with dark hair all coming down one side, as she cackles to herself and is like, "Typhus, welcome home." And that is the end of today's episode. Thank you guys for watching our latest episode of Deadfire: A New Dawn. If we ended on the last episode with meeting one parent, we've ended this episode with meeting the next. For a second there, I thought that we were going to get away. Big thank you to you guys for sitting me around the table playing D&D with me. Big thank you to Mini Megastore for sponsoring today's episode, and to Armour Class as well for sponsoring us in general. Some really good savings to be had. If you head down to the description, click on the links down there, you'll get some. It's varying levels. I can't remember off the top of my head. I should know better, but there's some really, really good savings to be had. Join us back again in 2 weeks, where we're going to a pretty, I think we can all say it's going to be a pretty heated boss fight as we put the Port Mandalay section of our campaign to rest in one way or another. But until then, I've been Ben. These guys have been the players. I'll see you later.